A couple of days ago, I made a video about all the plants in Plants vs. Zombies 1 in plush form. And well, today I'm going to be doing the exact same thing for all the zombies in Plants vs. Zombies 1 and also a few extra ones that were exclusive to the DS version of the game. And well, just like the plant videos, since most of these zombies do actually have multiple different variants of them, I'm just going to be telling you which one is the best in terms of accuracy. And if a zombie doesn't have a plush made by an actual company, we'll actually go over custom, and if there's no customs, well then there'll just be no plush of it. But yeah, starting off we have the basic zombie. Not unsurprisingly, the majority of the zombie plushes that were made were basic zombie plushes, but the best one in terms of accuracy in my opinion is the World Max one. As well, this one is actually just really high quality and is really nicely made, as well all the details on the plush that need to be there are actually there, so it looks really nice. As well, all the details are made out of some really high quality material and they're all just really nicely stuffed and everything, so yeah, this is definitely the best basic zombie plush in terms of accuracy. And well, there's also a big size of this plush, which actually is slightly less accurate, as obviously a zombie is not supposed to be that big, but both variants are actually really good. And well, this plush is sorta rare, so if you want it, you could look on eBay and Mercari, but every once in a while, you'll see one go up for sale, and usually they sell for around $80 to $100. Now next up we have the Flag Zombie, and well, obviously a company didn't make a Flag Zombie plush, as well all it is just a basic zombie holding a flag. So the only way to get this plush is if you make a custom of it. I found this really good looking custom, but if you want one, you could just get a normal basic zombie plush and make a flag for it and then just put it in its hand, and then you'll just have a flag zombie as well. It's just a really simple plush to custom make. Next we have the Conehead Zombie. Now just like the basic zombie, the World Max Conehead Zombie is definitely the best looking one, as it literally uses the exact same pattern as a basic zombie, but it just has a cone on its head, and the cone actually looks really accurate and it's really nicely stuffed. And well, another pretty good looking plush is the MCC Conehead Zombie as well, but basically uses the exact same design, except a few details are just slightly different. And well, there's also a newer Conehead Zombie plush being the Sakami Merchandise Conehead Zombie, so yeah, it overall looks pretty good in my opinion as well, but just looks really accurate, especially for what it's based off of. So yeah, honestly, either one of these plushes would be good. The World Max one would be the best, but that one is extremely rare, and same thing with the MCC one, so your best bet of getting a Conehead Zombie plush is probably the Sakami one. Next we have the Pole Vaulting Zombie. Now I recommend getting the Lynxen one, and there's actually a ton of different variants of the Lynxen one. This one's my personal favorite as well. The face is actually unique on this one, but there's also a couple others that reuse other zombies' faces, and they basically have just tons of different designs of this plush for whatever reason as well, but it seems in every single one of their sets they just made a new pole vaulting zombie with just a changed face. So yeah, honestly, any of these plushes would be good as well. They all use the exact same clothes and everything, and they all look really good. The only thing that's changed on them is the face. And well, they also sort of vary in rarity as well. This one that actually looks really good is actually kind of rare, but the slightly newer ones with these sort of faces are just slightly more common, and you could get them pretty easily. And well, there was also a World Max Pole Vaulting Zombie, and this would definitely be the best one if it was actually possible to get as well. I've never seen one for sale. And well, this is the only good image I could find of it as well. All the other ones are just really blurry, so yeah, this is the only good image I could find of this plush, so yeah, it's just extremely rare and you basically can't find it. Next up we have the Buckethead Zombie. Now the World Max one would definitely be the best one to get as well, but uses the exact same pattern as the basic zombie, except they just remove the tie. I have no idea why they removed the tie on this plush as well, but it would have looked fine with it, but for whatever reason they just decided to remove it on this plush. But besides that one change, it's the exact same pattern as the basic zombie, except it obviously has a bucket on it, and the bucket actually looks really good. But sadly, this plush is extremely rare, so you probably won't be able to get it, but a good replacement for it is the MCC one. As though just like the MCC Conehead Zombie, it basically uses the exact same pattern for the World Max one, so yeah, they're just very similar plushes that both look really good. And well, there's also a Sakami Merchandise Buckethead Zombie, which once again looks pretty good, and I do like that they actually have a bit of a unique design. As well, the design on the Sakami plushes actually just look really good, and I actually hope that they make a few more as well. These plushes just look really nice and they're pretty high quality. But yeah, your best bet for getting one is the Sakami one as well. The MCC and World Max ones are actually pretty rare. Next we have the Newspaper Zombie. Now, by far the best newspaper zombie is the Lynxen one, as well there's a few different newspaper zombies, but this one's definitely the best. As of all the details on this plush just look really good, and the entire plush is just really nicely stuffed and really well made. There's also just a ton of different variants of this plush, so there's just tons of different sizes, and there's also this version that has the exact same eyes as on the normal plush. The left eye is smaller than the right one, but on this plush, they actually just both use the exact same eye. And well, there's also a small version of the big-eyed newspaper zombie, so yeah, overall, there's just tons of different variants of the newspaper zombie. So yeah, the Lynx and Newspaper Zombies by far the best one to get. It's really your only option, unless if you want to buy this one for some reason. As of currently, only this Newspaper Zombie and the Lynx and Newspaper Zombie on our eBay, but this one's just really overpriced and also just looks really strange. Next we have the Screen Door Zombie. Now the only company to ever make a Screen Door Zombie plush is the VG Toys, and well, they did a pretty good job with it. As though they just used their normal zombie power and just added a screen door to it, and the screen door is actually made out of a foam material, which does actually mean it could get bent and damaged, meaning that you actually have to be really careful with how you store this plush, so if you put it in a weird spot, it could get the screen door bent really easily. It's also just two foam pieces glued together, meaning that the glue could get dried over the years, so yeah, overall it's definitely not the best design, but it's the only screen door zombie that you could get. And well, currently there's none on eBay, so you don't really have much of a chance of getting this one at the moment, as well, they used to be on eBay, but for whatever reason the seller took them all down. Next we have the Football Zombie. Now in terms of accuracy, the Tiz Toy Football Zombie is the better looking one, but I do actually have to say that this bootleg one does actually just look slightly better in my opinion. As well, the Tiz Toy plush is just a really strange one, as well, especially because the head could actually come off of this plush with magnets, so yeah, it's overall just a really strange design. And I don't really like how the Tiz Toy one looks, as well, even though it technically is a bit more accurate with the clothes and everything, I just don't really like it, and it also uses a green zombie color for some reason. But yeah, the Tiz Toy one actually is really common though, while this bootleg one isn't, so if you do want a Football Zombie plush that's really easy to get, you could just buy the Tiz Toy one. But yeah, this other bootleg one does look better in my opinion, as of even if it's technically not as accurate, I still do like how it's made and everything, and it looks pretty good. But sadly, the person selling all of these plushes, just like the Screen Door Zombie, stopped selling them, so yeah, currently you can't get this plush. Next up we have the Disco Zombie. Now obviously, the limited edition Disco Zombies are by far the most well known one, and well, they're obviously just really good. As well, even though they're not technically accurate to the game, I would recommend getting these ones, as well, these ones are just really iconic and they look really nice. But in terms of accuracy, the Jazzwares one does look better, but honestly, I just don't really like the design of this plush, and honestly, a lot of people just don't either. So yeah, even though the Jazzwares one is technically more accurate, I would definitely recommend getting the limited edition one instead if you're able to find one. As of honestly, compared to any other limited edition plush, the Disco Zombie is really easy to find, it's just that everyone makes it extremely overpriced. As of recently, I seen this plush selling up to $350, so yeah, honestly, I don't know why this plush is so expensive, especially because it's not as rare as other limited edition plushes. And well, there's also two different designs of this one, being a red one and a blue one, so yeah, it definitely do look really nice, and if you're able to find one for a decent price, I would definitely recommend getting it. Next we have the Backup Dancer Zombie. Now no company ever make a Backup Dancer Zombie, but there is this custom that I found, and it's really the only custom I found at all. As of, I'm pretty sure I was only able to find one other custom Backup Dancer Zombie, but besides that, it doesn't really seem that many people made them. So the only way to really get this plush is if you either buy a custom from someone making one and selling it, or if you make your own. But yeah, this is actually just a really good custom that I found. It's definitely my favorite one that I found out of both of them as well. It just looks really accurate, and I also like that he looks like he's dancing. So yeah, overall, they just definitely did a really good job with this plush, and whoever made it just did a really nice job with it and made it look pretty accurate. Next, we have the Duck Tube Zombie. Now, the Lynx one's by far the best one, and it's also one of the only Duck Tube Zombies, so there's really not much competition for which one's the best. As well, it just uses the normal Lynx and basic zombie, but it did change the cone to this different material, and also added a felt tie, and obviously added the duck tube to it. So yeah, overall, this is just a really nice looking plush in my opinion. They just definitely did a really good job with it. As well, all the details look accurate and everything, so yeah, overall, if there was a duck tube zombie plush to get, it would be this one. As well, it's also pretty easy to find in the normal size, as well, they don't really sell for that much, as well, they're just really common. Next, we have the Snorkeler Zombie. Now, WorldMax was going to make a Snorkeler Zombie plush, but it only ended up ever being a prototype and was never released. And well, if this plush was released, it would definitely be the best snorkeler zombie plush out there as well. It just looks really nice from this one picture that we have of it. So yeah, it would have just definitely been the best snorkeler zombie plush. But thankfully, the same company that made the screen door zombie, being VG Toys, actually their own bootleg snorkeler zombie plush. And well, for what it is actually really good, but once again, it's basically impossible to find now as well. The same seller that was selling the bootleg football zombie and the screen door zombie just stopped selling them. But if these do ever show up for sale again on eBay, I would definitely recommend getting them as well. They just look really nice and they just did a really good job with it. As well, especially for a bootleg, it's actually really good quality and they just did a really good job with it. So yeah, overall, since it's really the only snorkeler zombie plush that you could get, it's definitely the best one. Next up we have the Zomboni. Now sadly, no company or custom of this plush actually exists as well. I searched for some customs, but none of them seem to exist. And while it does sort of make sense why a company never made this plush as well, it's literally a whole vehicle, so it would be actually really hard to make it in plush form. And well, same thing with the zombie bobsled team, they also didn't ever make a plush of it, and I've never found a custom of it either. And once again, it makes sense as well. You would literally have to make 4 separate zombie plush and put them in a bobsled, so it makes sense why no company made a plush of it, or even anyone made a custom of it, as it would just be a really hard one to do. But next up we have the Dolphin Rider zombie, which actually has a few plushes, but by far the best one is the Lynxen one. As well, the face on it actually looks really good, and they definitely did a really good job with it. And while the entire suit and everything looks pretty accurate, he also has a dolphin stitched onto his hand and also to the side of him. And well, the dolphin also has a bit of embroidery on it, so it overall just looks really good, and they did a great job with this plush. As well, since the Dolphin Rider zombie is actually a pretty simplistic zombie plush, they did everything that they could with it, and they overall just did a really good job with it. So yeah, it's definitely a really nice one, and it's also extremely common and easy to get. Next up we have the Jack-in-the-Box zombie. Now, the only company to ever make a Jack-in-the-Box plush was Bungee, and well, they actually made tons of different designs. As though each design just looks slightly different, but they basically use the exact same clothes for every design, just change the facial expression and the size of it. But on every single one of these plushes, they just made them look pretty strange, as well the faces on most of these plushes just don't really look accurate. So it ends up a lot of the time having these plushes just look really weird, especially because the Jack-in-the-Box is actually just stitched onto the middle of his arms most of the time. So he's really not even holding it, he just has it in between his arms, so yeah, it ends up just making the entire plush look pretty strange. And well, even though this plush does look really weird, if you find one, I would definitely recommend getting it, as well. It's extremely rare, but if one does show up for sale, it will probably sell for a lot of money. Next we have the Balloon Zombie. Now, the same company that made the Screen Door and Snorkeler Zombie, being VG Toys, made this plush. And well, just like all their other bootlegs, it just seems to be really high quality, and they actually just did a really good job with it. As though the entire plush has all the correct details to it, and the clothes are actually really well made, and same thing with the balloon. The balloon is actually stitched onto the balloon zombie's head. The reason that they stitched it to the head is probably just because they wanted the balloon to actually stay up a bit more, as if it wasn't stitched to the head, it would fall over. So yeah, this is definitely one of their best plushes that they made, as it just looks really nice, and they also just did a really good job with all the details and everything. And well, this is also the only balloon zombie plush, so you can't really get another one, but sadly, you can't really get it right now, as it's not for sale really anywhere. Next we have the Digger Zombie. Now sadly, no company or no custom of this plush really exists, so yeah, I couldn't even find a custom of this one, and what sort of makes sense is, well, the Digger Zombie actually has a lot of detail to him. So it makes sense why no company or really no custom of this plush exists, as well. There's just a lot of details you would need to add. And well, same thing with the Pogo Zombie, as though there's really no plush of this one or custom that exists, so yeah, honestly, you can't really get any plush of it unless if you make your own. Now next up we have the Yeti Zombie. Now in terms of accuracy, the Lynxen one's definitely the best, and well, there's actually 2 sizes of it, being a normal size and a big size. And well, either of these sizes would work, and well, you could actually just get both if you want, as well these plushes are just really common, and they're also pretty cheap. But yeah, both of these plushes just look really good in both sizes, and well, they're all just really nicely made, and they look really good. And well, Worldmax also made a Yeti Zombie plush, and well, it actually uses this fur-like material, and well, it's actually just really soft, but for whatever reason, the face does just look sort of weird. As well, the eyes are just a bright red color, and the teeth are just really spiky, so it kind of gives it a weird look. And well, the Yeti Zombie made by Worldmax actually just looked a lot different before it was released, as though there's this prototype of the Worldmax one which looks completely different. And well, I would argue that the prototype actually looks better than the release plush, as well this one actually just looks a bit more accurate. As with the shape of the body and everything, and also with the face, it just looks a lot better than the actual release plush. So yeah, this prototype is actually just a lot better than the actually release one. So it's honestly kind of a shame they didn't just stick with the original design, but either way, they both look pretty good. But by far the best one is the Lynxen one, especially because it's actually really easy to get, because the release World Max one is actually really rare and also sells for a ton of money. Now for the next 3 zombies, they don't have any plushes of them being the Bungee Zombie, the Ladder Zombie, and the Catapult Zombie. Now, no company ever made these plushes, and it really seems to be no custom to these plushes either, but the Bungee Zombie would be the easiest custom to make, as you just have to give a basic zombie a red coat and tie a string around it, and then you would just have a Bungee Zombie. So yeah, it's actually just a really simple custom. And well, for the Ladder Zombie and Catapult Zombie, I see why no one made a custom and no company actually made a plush for it, as they're just really complicated designs. Especially for the Catapult Zombie, as just like the Zomboni, is actually a vehicle, so it'd be really hard to make a plush. Now moving on, we have the Gargantuar. Now I do really like the Lynxen design, but the colors do look really strange, as for whatever reason they use this red color for the shirt. And was also missing the telephone pole that the Gargantuar zombie is supposed to be holding, so yeah, honestly I have no idea what this is supposed to be based off of, especially because it has a red shirt. But yeah, there's really only 2 Gargantuar zombies that actually have the telephone pole, being this weird bootleg one and also this VG Toys one. And well, this weird bootleg one's actually made by the company Toy, the same people that made that football zombie with magnets, and well, just like the football zombie, this plush also uses magnets in it. And well, I don't really like this plush because it uses magnets, and magnets are just a really bad thing with this plush, as though the limbs like the arms and head could come off, which is just really strange. So the VG Toys one is definitely better, as it actually has the telephone pole stitched onto the hand, but if for whatever reason it is stitched onto the body. But yeah, overall, the embroidery on the face on the VG Toys one and basically everything about it just looks really good. But sadly, at the moment, you can't really get it anywhere, so for now, you could just get the Lynxen one, but still looks pretty nice. Next up, we have the Imp. Now, there's really only one good looking Imp plush, being the Jazzwares one. And well, this one is basically perfect, as it has all the details on the face just look really accurate and everything, so yeah, there's basically no improvements I would make about this plush, but it just looks really nice. So yeah, there's really not much else to say about the Jazzwares Imp plushes, though it's basically perfect, but it actually is pretty expensive for whatever reason. Now moving on, we have Dr. Zomboss. Now just like the Imp, the Jazzwares Dr. Zomboss is the only normal Dr. Zomboss plush made by a company, and it looks really good. But once again, it could actually be pretty hard to get, as it sells for a ton of money, and there's also a weird looking second design that just has a really wide open mouth. So if you do ever end up wanting to get this plush, make sure to get the first design, not the second design, as the second design just looks really bad. Now that was all the main Plants vs. Zombies 1 zombies, but there's also a few 3DS exclusives like the Baseball Zombie. Now this Baseball Zombie is made by World Max, and it looks pretty good, except once again, just like the pole vaulting zombie, this is the only good image of it, and all the other images are just really blurry. And well, it's basically like this plush never exists, as I've never seen a listing for it, and no one has basically ever seen it for sale. And there's also 0 documented owners of this plush, so yeah, it's basically impossible to get. And well, that's really the only 3DS exclusive, as well the Baseball Zombie is probably the most recognizable one, as well all the other exclusives like the Target Zombie never really got a plush made of it, and never really got any customs. As well, all the other ones are just really obscure, as well who would ever make a Target Zombie plush? But yeah, those were all the Plants vs. Zombies 1 zombies. Compared to the Plants, there's actually a lot less zombie plushes, which actually does make a lot of sense, as well the zombies have a much more complicated design compared to most of the Plants, so it makes sense why there's less plushes of them, as well they're much harder to make. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please like and subscribe, and comment down below which of these zombie plushes is your favorite, and yeah, have a great day.